All right. Well, on 3, 2, Blue Kool-Aid drinkers.
Go!
We are back, baby. We are back in a historical victory for your Detroit Lions, a 31-26 comeback victory. Holy smokes, we got a lot to talk about in this one. It was ugly, but a beautiful
Yep.
ending at the end. We are just going to get into all of it, but before we do, let's introduce the Blue Kool-Aid crew that is here. So I'm Big Z. Let's get to the other two. We got UJ
Hello, Lions fans.
and Red Dog.
Yo!
And we also got our producer Kid J here on the side, so he might
Kid
be
J.
at any point. But man, wow! The Lions, they have the win-loss thing, and there's a 98% chance that the Bears are going to win. Like they do that in probability and historical measures and stuff. But wow, I mean, just this was an ugly, ugly performance. It looked like this was like one of the worst Lions games we've seen in the last 2 years in the Campbell era, and my God. I mean, just they flip it around in 2.5 minutes. And I mean, Connor sent this one too to our Lions chat. No NFL team with a 3+3 turnover margin, which was the Bears, and 40 minutes time of possession has ever lost the game. Teams were 48
Ever.
Bears lost
That's
today.
so wild.
Ever.
Goff really clicked at the end, thank God. And maybe it was the hurry up offense that helped him out and got him into a rhythm because he was very off. And we'll get into all that. But first, just I want to throw this over to Red Dog first. Just your reaction to how that game ended, and I'd be just overjoyed. I don't know if you saw the video of Dan Campbell doing his primal scream in the locker room. That's how I think that's how everyone felt.
Yeah.
I love it. But, I knew it was going to happen. I believed the whole time we were going to win that game. Never had a doubt. And they proved me right. So that felt pretty great. My faith hasn't always been rewarded so much. And so that was great. This team, I just believe in this team. I believe in what we've built, what Dan Campbell has built. I believe that no matter what, they're gritty and they're determined and they're strong and they're capable, and we're stacked. We got all the weapons we need to do what we need when we need to do it, aka Jamo Williams with the deep shot tutty.
Yeah.
Beating that soft double. I can't believe the Bears let him get behind him. That was the one thing they shouldn't have done is let the deep ball.
Well, it's an interesting pattern, though, because him and Amon-Ra ran out together right next to each other. And I think the defenders were just slightly not sure who to cover in that case. And I don't know. They seemed to be slightly hesitant. And then Jamo just broke long. They couldn't keep up with him. He's too fast. And it was just a really nicely done play.
Yeah, I mean, and finally Goff makes the right throw at that time. He had an up and down game, and we'll get to that in a moment. But just that ability, I like. And then the Bears come back. I mean, they still have a chance to run out the clock because that's what they're doing kind of throughout the game, just moving the ball like first down.
I think that was the beginning of their downfall, honestly.
Well, hey, to put it, I'm sorry, I don't use bad language, although we do occasionally on this podcast. The Bears were kind of pussies in that at the end there. They were up by 2 scores as it was. And instead of going for it on 4th down, I know they had 4th and 5 or 4th and 6 or whatever it was. And if they'd have gone and they'd have buried us. Campbell, I think in that same situation would have just gone for it and buried the other team.
Well, they also did us favor on 3rd and 7. They ran the ball. It was just like a simple counter play.
They kept running up our gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I would have had that ball in Fields' hands.
Yeah, and then they throw the deep ball on 3rd down. That gave us a free timeout, although I mean, it might have been the right choice on a good throw because Sutton was beat.
Well, see, I was talking about the play right before they kicked their field goal.
Yeah. The 3rd down run, right? That was part of what you're talking about.
7 at that point, I thought.
No, they were up by 9, I believe it was.
9.
Oh, that's right.
Chose to kick the field goal instead of going for it on 4th, on our own 30-yard line roughly, and they settled for the field goal. To go up by 12. So,
which didn't change much.
Didn't change much, exactly. Whereas if they'd have kept the drive going, like they'd have got a first down, they could have probably ran the clock down where we wouldn't have had enough time to do what we did. So
or score a touchdown. So
the difference in coaching philosophies we're witnessing here. I mean, I'm pretty sure Camo would have freaking gone for it. And then just one other thing I want to say about the Bears at the end there. They relied on Fields for so much for most of that game, and then they just sort of at the end didn't let him run it. Like, why? I didn't.
That's
get
where
that
I think
either.
they got conservative, UJ. I think they tried to just run the ball out, and they didn't want to run Fields ideally because we were making Fields pay a bit for his running today. He got some shots on him. They showed his finger bleeding real good at one point. Like
it was still their best shot to win, though. I think.
I agree, but that's what I'm saying. They went conservative,
104 yards rushing,
and just tried to run the game out. Like that's why we got them to the third down at that point because it seemed like we couldn't stop them for the longest time. But then they just kept running on us.
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't put the ball in. I can't believe they didn't put the ball in Fields' legs. And
that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
That's what we're all saying.
Yeah,
we're all saying. Oh boy.
Anyway, it's pretty good, man.
But there's something else too that I think Red Dog's been alluded to for a while. You brought up Theo Riddick kind of in the past game. Jahmyr Gibbs we saw step up big in the last 2.5 minutes there, especially in the pass game.
Yep.
And he had that nice play where he caught over the middle, broke a tackle, and got out of bounds too to save some time as well. I think that was a big
great
play.
Very.
I mean, just all around, all the weapons, even the Lions utilizing the run game in the last drive there too was amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
and then of course the great capper was Montgomery scoring the game-winning touchdown.
Yes,
that was just beautiful, poetic justice.
Yeah,
and but both those last two drives, it just looked like our offense suddenly just decided to open up and just have its way. Like, I mean, they made maybe one or two actual stops on us in that whole series. Like either of those series, like we were just moving the ball to all our guys. Laporta finally woke up. Like everyone was getting involved, Gibbs and Montgomery. Like it was just awesome to see how good our offense can be when we really need it. And Goff finally woke up too.
That was I think the biggest thing, just Goff, because he looked. I mean, we get into it now, but he looked really just flustered during this game. I don't know if he had a bad night of sleep or what the deal was.
It was weird.
Especially the one where he maybe that was good on TJ Edwards on the interception where he looked to his right. TJ Edwards then floats to the zone and it was Edwards left. Then he follows Goff's eyes over the middle. I mean, it was a pretty good play on Edwards' part, but I mean, Goff's got to be better than that and recognize that too. So.
Yeah, Goff threw a couple bad ones. The third one I at first thought was him, but it was just a tip ball at the line, which I am actually curious, like in their own assessment, where the coaches and the players, what do they say when something like that happens? Is it just the other team making a play, or can the quarterbacks actually actively avoid that? I don't know. To me, it just seems like the defense made a play on that one.
I think the defense of the Bears was well prepared for us today, and early on their game plan played out really well. We normally, when Goff seems to have guys open all the time, it seems like he can always find someone, but they weren't there. I mean, he was forced to throw little short throws, and no one was open. It was tough. They played us tough that game. So, credit to them for coming out with a good game plan. It took us a while to figure it out, but they did play us tough there for a while.
I mean, that's probably the strength of their team, of that defense. I feel like they got some good players. They kept saying they were the number 2 ranked run defense, so I thought we were. But I mean, we still ran pretty effectively on them. They got a solid. Honestly, looking at that Bears team, if they do the right thing, which is load resources into that offensive line next year, I think they're going to be really dangerous. But right now, they're just a lesser team.
Yeah, I mean, their offensive line isn't too bad. I mean, the Lions' pass rush was not really getting home to Fields. Unless I felt like it was like a coverage sack-esque type thing, but not definitely.
That felt a lot
like Hutch was losing a lot of one-on-ones today.
He was.
It felt like the same symptoms we always see against these mobile quarterbacks, though, where our discipline and the way we try to restrain our players causes our pass rush to sort of lose its teeth a little bit, which it still wasn't as bad as it is against, players like it was against the Seahawks or the Ravens, but or even the 49 or the Chargers for that matter. But you did see sort of that similar vibe again, where it's just hard to generate that pass rush when you have to play the run consistently on your way to the passer, and the quarterback is also a viable runner. But like that all being said, I felt like we got way more consistent pressure than like we did against Seattle or the Ravens. It wasn't super consistent, but like, and maybe Fields isn't the best pocket passer like those, not as good as those guys, but. I'm just saying, I don't think it was always easy, but he got some of those same benefits that seems to be a recipe for beating our pass rush. I just felt like because of his skill set.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we all know the Lions and Aaron Glenn have had their issues with mobile quarterbacks in his tenure as defense coordinator.
It does seem to be a strategy.
It's tough to. I mean, there was some in cases like Josh Pascal was there, like he read the run of Vince Fields, and the Fields just outmaneuvered,
ran around him.
So in some cases, just
You know what? I will say
it's a tough guy. He's
defense,
a tough guy to defend, and the Bears really leaned into the run with him today, except for when it mattered.
They did,
ironically.
I think our linebackers actually played a pretty good game today. All things considered, there was a lot of plays where like the hole was huge and Fields or someone was running through, and it was either Barnes or Campbell, and they would just like grab them by the damn belts and were dragging them down. Like our linebackers, I think, were stressed out, but did a really good job of limiting a lot of big plays today.
Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
I mean, Anzalone 15 tackles, Campbell 9, Derek Barnes 8. I mean, 80 total tackles on the team because there's 80 total plays the Bears ran an offense, which is just absurd.
And that was the thing. All their drives, like they had that one big play for a touchdown, but all their drives took a long time, and they only got 26 points in that game. They had the ball a lot and only left with 26 points.
Yeah.
40 minutes. I mean, to me, that says something about our defense. We weren't airtight. We weren't airtight by any means, but we were frisky. We were gritty. We were, scrappy. We were nippy. We were not letting anything go easy. We were making them pay when we got a chance. I mean, hey, Aleem McNeil got his 5th sack of the season. That dude is really becoming what we thought he would be this year. And of course, Hutch sealing the deal so beautifully.
That's awesome.
Aleem McNeil on a spin move. Yeah, that was awesome. But you're right though about the defense. They're playing hard. I mean, despite some of their failures in this game and the extended drives, sometimes on penalties, unfortunately, ticky-tack penalties in a couple of cases.
Yeah.
But our defense, at no time did they ever just let up. They played their asses off, and they were hitting hard. They were playing hard, so they never slowed down.
And if you look at the way
for that.
Sorry, EJ. Yeah, I give them credit too. Like the way they ended this game, like you can say it was our defense or our offense ended this game. This was like, the whole script of the game, the way things went down. Yeah, did you mention the turnovers they got put behind too, EJ? Like all that, like.
Oh yeah.
It's been that. I think they got put in a lot of tough spots and generally held their own. And at the end, when we needed it most, they got their stops. We caused them to punt and got our offense the ball back and a chance to win the game and then sealed the deal to boot. I mean, what a weird performance. I would say, like, I think this game was setting up to really hurt us in, like, our national sort of standing and how people look at us. But we ended it so pretty. Like, those last 2 drives were so just masterful in their orchestration. The run-pass balance was just brilliant. And then Hutch ending it on a sack fumble like that for a safety, just freaking outstanding. Like, to me, like, that just it was like when Clowney did that play against Michigan back in college. Everyone forgets about the rest of how he sucked that game. He made that terrific play, when it mattered. Like, this team came out when they mattered, and that's why I just believe in this team. They dig deep, and they do what it counts when it counts.
Yeah, just to touch on some of Ben Johnson too, calling plays, like, and Big Z mentioned earlier, like how we were using run plays down the stretch here, and I think I was noticing today, like when Ben Johnson sees an opening for a run, our offense is so good and our line is so good that they don't care what the down is or the distance. Like, so it could be 3rd and 6 or 7 or whatever, and they'll call a run up the middle because the defense dictated it, and our guys are good enough to do it and execute it. And that's what they did today down the stretch there. There were some really brilliant plays where you wouldn't normally run, your pass, you got to score. And they would run it up the middle and get a huge gainer, And it's just brilliant play calling and execution at the end there.
Kind of like a great boxer, going high, low, body, head. Like, keeping them off balance. That's why I think we moved through them just like so easily. It looked great.
And I love the play call too from Ben Johnson on the Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. That was just knowing your personnel. Good tape study to know like you're just gonna get Gibbs one-on-one with with the linebackers, and he's gonna outrun.
Oh my god,
to the end zone.
No
doubt about it.
Halfway there, Gibbs was coasting already. Like that's how fast that guy is. He's so fast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, too good.
It's awesome. Gibbs was 6 for 59 in the receiving game today, which I love to see.
You still see he's leaving meat on the bone. That one where he caught it was a swing pass or screen, and he was running down the right sideline, and he ended up getting running right into the guy, and it looked like a pretty nasty hit. Like took the ball to his legs.
Yes, I know.
And if he just goes left, Graham Glasgow was clearing the way to the end zone, and it would have been a score. Like, I think he's just going to get better and better as he just gets more comfortable out there and sees the field better. That'll be a good one to learn from and stuff too. Like he's touching the surface barely of what he's capable of. Same with JMO. This was JMO's best game yet, I think you might say. At least in terms
another
of
nice
receiving.
catch too on a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's 2 of 44. That was a 32-yard touchdown catch on the one.
They're showing their trust.
We need to see that more. Like, I want to see shots to him more consistently. He's too fast to not, at least to scare the defense, just to let them know we're able of doing this anytime. Like,
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think you will. Goff missed him on another one deep down the left sideline too.
That was just a major under. I think he thought he might stop because he didn't get leverage or something, but then JMO was too fast and did get leverage. I think that's what it looked like to me. Like
he was fairly covered on that one, though, wasn't it?
Because if he just sort of stopped and sat down, he would have been an easy catch. But he thought he had his guy beat.
Yeah, and this is a great step in the right direction for JMO as a receiver. And yeah, I mean this. His ceiling is obviously just ridiculously high as he keeps getting more comfortable and more comfortable.
Someone had a great theory on JMO that the Lions purposely kept him on, wanted him to be suspended for the gambling because they didn't want him to come out too soon, and the rest of the league would get to see too much of him, and they're purposely holding the reins on him now until later. This is like a theory. It's like till later in the season, because the NFL. They won't be ready for it when it happens.
It would be so ridiculous. I think it's going to play out that way, though.
It might. Yeah, it might.
I mean, he's hitting his stride now. I think he's going to become more and more prominent in the game plan. He's too deadly not to.
We are just loaded, man. This offense is just freaking loaded.
And the O-line played great down the stretch.
It's so much fun.
Just like
it is. You know what? I just want to say. In a lot of the games we watch in recent memory, I think the most exciting comeback victory I ever saw was the Stafford one when his rookie year when he beat Cleveland, got hurt.
Yeah.
And maybe one of the most exciting comebacks I've ever seen. But I think this might have topped that one. This was really something, man. Really something.
Well, we need it mic'd up to go with it too, right? To really cement its history.
Yeah.
How much, and yet, we won, and it wasn't even that dramatic. It didn't come down to the wire like that. We kneeled it out.
Dramatic. My heart was beating a million miles an hour.
I know, I was pretty jacked up too. But we handled it in such a convincing way, is all. We came back so strong, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, I want to throw something in there too. That you talk about a fitting ending, kind of. Amon-Ra St. Brown is just the best player on that field, I think. I think he's just the best player on the field, period. I mean, we have a lot of good players, okay? So on that, after the safety, they got a punt back to us, and They punt it straight up, like 20 yards on the field.
Oh,
Amon-Ra catches it with 21 guys surrounding him. I mean, like they were all like, and then Amon-Ra's right in the middle of that, and Fair catches it. Everyone was ready to jump on him. It was so funny, just like a fitting way to end it to me. I don't know. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's
Definitely.
awesome.
What a beast! What a beast! I mean, just
So
the amount of
damn
catches
good.
he's making, like low, and the touchdown catch was a great throw and catch.
So good.
It was a good
So
throw
good.
too. Kept it low, like only where.
It reminded me of Chaz in our backyard pickup games back in the day. He'd always catch those damn low balls. I'd never believe it. He'd somehow haul it
in. But yeah, I mean, just he's so reliable too. Like every third down, it just
incredible.
Can't stop him. It doesn't matter, even if you know
that
the ball's going to him.
That deep out for like a third and long conversion early in the game, where it just looked so textbook. He made it look so easy. Running just catches it away from his body. I love. He's so freaking jacked. He don't look like a receiver. He looks like a linebacker playing receiver or something. He's such a freak.
How about that one toward the end of the game though, when Goff threw and there were two guys, like it was the tightest window I've maybe ever seen, and Amon-Ra caught that pass. It was on the second of the last drive, I think, right around midfield.
Oh, and then he turned it upfield for like 8 yards after that. Right?
Yes,
like,
he turns upfield and gets another 8 to 10 yards after the catch.
Right to the midfield. That was like our first play on the comeback. Like he got it right out to midfield. It was excellent.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, tight window too. I mean, there were two guys just draped on him. It was just amazing stuff, It's hard to have enough good things to say. Amon-Ra is just the guy's good.
We know one thing: we're our own worst enemies.
Yeah,
because that game we should have won that game probably walking away, but hey, we overcame our own gaffes and errors. And
I like this.
Kept chugging away.
I don't know if you remember, but Justin Fields had that long run on third and medium or whatever with 6 minutes left. He did that.
To the left sideline. Oh yeah,
he did his dance and stuff. After that dance, Bears get 5 yards the next 3 plays, kick a field goal. Lions go 75 yards, touchdown. Bears 3 plays and out. Lions 11 plays, touchdown. Bears negative 25 yards on a safety.
Freaking amazing.
That's even better. Right after the dance, I love it.
So amazing. It just pissed them off. They're like, "Oh God, we can't lose to this."
Oh man, that's so.
Hey,
I mean, you guys brought.
I gotta get off here, but
yeah, go ahead, do it.
One development I want to talk about real quick. I didn't notice much of his impact, but I thought this was cool that Rodrigo is now playing fullback. And I love the potential of him playing that position because he's also really fast and might even be able to be a nice little surprise runner eventually.
Yeah, he's been out there a couple times before. So, I mean, it was.
Yeah. He was out there a bunch today, though. I noticed him at least 2 or 3 times, and I finally realized he was on offense when I was noticing him because I saw him on like an interception replay. I was confused. But yeah, I'm just saying. Go ahead.
That's a great position for like an undersized guy to be in because they get the leverage right in the blocking.
He's really athletic.
Yeah,
he's really powerful, and he's fast. He ran like a 4.5. Like I could see him getting one of those like fullback up the guts and taking it the distance. Like you never know if something like that.
That'd be so cool.
I love it. Just another.
What about it to win the Super Bowl? Rodrigo up the middle.
That would be. Oh my God,
incredible. Not to mention his speed to get out and block on the perimeter for Gibbs and stuff.
Right.
Like,
well, and the other aspect of it too is he's a willing blocker. You got to be willing. You got to lay your body on the line at that position. So,
I'll tell you what, we got a bunch of willing guys out there. I just want to do a shout out. Like Cam Sutton, I think is just been a great signing for us. He's very aggressive, good defender, and he comes up and run support. He's tough, man. Tough kid. And
he's reliable. He's been a reliable cornerback we've been missing for
absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
And Branch, I thought, had a pretty solid day despite the ticky-tack penalties he drew.
Yes,
he had his bad penalties, but he also was a beast in other respects. 3 tackles for loss in this game, just shooting off the edge.
Yeah, that one where he like caught the running back.
That was one of the best. That was awesome. He flew in there so fast. That was amazing.
All right, Kool-Aid drinkers, I'm going to sign off. I got to be somewhere. So.
All right, Red Dog.
All right,
Go
Red
Lions,
Dog.
baby.
Yay.
Go Lion.
Woo.
And UJ, actually, I do want to bring up too. And unfortunately, I don't think we'll have the audio for the live stream here. My producer Kid Jay's gonna add it in for the pod. But I made a bet with some of my Bears buddies. Like these are friends from high school. I've heard shit for years about the Lions, etc. I've lost a fair share of my bets, but today I made a bet. It went in two ways. If the Bears won, they could come on here and talk trash about the Lions or praise the Bears. Or if the Lions won, they had to come on here and say how they're like the greatest team of all time. So the Lions won. I had to stretch the bet out a little bit. But here's a few audio clips from my friends. So anyway, so it was good to win a bet, UJ. Finally, allowing them to see the light, like America is seeing the light with the Lions this year. I think I mentioned it, but man, I love that scream locker room that Dan Campbell had. I mean, this team is just, how can you hate this team? I just don't understand how anybody can hate this team. It's such a likable team.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all just football guys through and through. I think that's what makes it so great. That's why, should they have made a move at the trade deadline? Debatable for a pass rusher or something like that. But they were so keen on keeping what this locker room's all about, this culture that they've built. That if the right guy wasn't available at the right price, they were not going to do it. And they stood pat. But I mean, just go watch the clip. It's on the Lions Twitter account of the post game locker room speech from Campbell. It's a lot of fun. I mean, everything about this game was fun. Now that they won,
yeah,
they lost. It was a different tune we'd be singing, but winning cures all.
And I got to admit, as being a Lions fan for as long as I've been, some of those old feelings started sinking in toward the end of the game. I was getting depressed and all that. And then, of course, they came back and won. But Campbell has a unique ability to put trust in his players, and he gives them a different perspective of things. Like when things are down, like he goes to the defense, and he always, this is your chance to be a hero, man. These are the moments we live for. Coming back, making a big play, and this is what he puts in their head. It's not like, it's down and dour and everything's bad. No, he puts these ideas in their head that they can suddenly become a hero, and they do. I mean, like, they're never out of it. He just puts the right thoughts in their head, and he's got them. It's hard to explain. I'm not doing it well, but he's got them thinking the right way, and they never give up. They just fight to the end.
Definitely.
And it's just so much fun to watch.
It's an absolute blast. Hold on, I was going to mention something here. What was it? Oh yeah, the last time the Lions were 8-2. Who was president, UJ? Who was president the last time Lions were 8-2?
Oh, it was either John F. Kennedy or Lyndon B. Johnson. It was 1962. So
right. Yes, JFK.
Yeah. Oh baby.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, that just speaks to how historic this season is for the Lions, a team that's number one in the NFC North. The Vikings are playing right now. They're the closest team to the Lions in the division. They're 6-4. I'm rooting for the Broncos tonight from a betting perspective, but also from a team perspective. It's 10-6 right now, going into halftime, it appears. But so if the Vikings lose this game, the Lions have a 3-game lead on the division. The Packers won today. I don't know what that means, but and then the Lions have the Packers on Thanksgiving, which we'll get to later this week, previewing that game. But it's great. And so I mean, as far as the standings too, the Eagles still play tomorrow night. So if they lose that game, the Lions will be first, and the Eagles are actually underdogs in that game. So it's very, very possible. So at 8-2, the 49ers won today. They're at 7-3. They're the 3 seed right now. The Cowboys are at 7-3, but they're the 5 seed because the Eagles and them are in the same division, which is kind of goofy. I feel like if you're like the Saints are 5-5, UJ, and like the Falcons are 4-6, the Buccaneers are 4-6. One of those teams is going to make the playoffs.
I agree.
Like they wouldn't make it if they were in any other division. I feel like you have to be above 500 to qualify for that. There should be some rule for being like terrible but winning their division.
Yeah, well, so if
I don't
they win the division, that puts them seed wise ahead of like the Cowboys, who have a better
Right.
record but are second in the division. Well, I mean, they could easily change that. Maybe you still make the playoffs by winning your division, but you're dropped to a lower tier. And when a
Yeah, you
team
shouldn't
that's
get a home playoff game. That's silly.
agreed, I agree. But hey, it's the way it
Um,
is.
Yeah, I mean it's benefiting the Lions. But if the Eagles lose, well, actually no, the Eagles would still. Sorry, the Eagles have the better conference record, so I apologize. But the Seahawks lost today, which I think is important because they have the tiebreaker over the Lions. But now the Seahawks fall to 6-4 after their loss to LA. And the Lions have the second best record in the NFL right now, behind the Chiefs. Well,
That is phenomenal.
Eagles, and well, they'd be tied for the second with if the Chiefs win tomorrow.
10 games into the season, we have the second best record in the NFL.
Isn't it crazy?
Amazing.
Crazy. 7 games to go. 7 games to go for the Lions, and that includes Thanksgiving, where I believe the Lions are like 7-point favorites again on Thanksgiving, which makes sense because the Lions smoked Green Bay in Green Bay.
Yeah.
This is the Lions' remaining schedule, though, at home against Green Bay on Thanksgiving. Consider it a little mini bye when you have the Thursday game because they are at New Orleans on December 3rd, at Bears again December 10th. That will not be easy, obviously. Nope. Especially Goff in the cold. He's always iffy.
He was pretty good last year against Green Bay in the cold.
Yes, he was. Well, he was good enough. He was good enough.
Exactly.
Then Broncos, who are turning around their season. That is not easy, but that's at home in Detroit. Then 2 on the road, back-to-back, Vikings and Cowboys, and then home against the Vikings to end the season. So hopefully that's not for the division. Hopefully it's wrapped up by then. The Vikings have been playing pretty well, so they're going to make it interesting down the stretch, I believe.
It's not going to be a gimme.
No, it's not. But other things about this game, UJ, Ellie, anything that concerns you about the Lions moving forward in terms of like our team's going to see what the Bears did defensively against this Lions offense and use that going because the zone kind of messed up Goff there for a while today. I don't know if
it did.
Was this him having an off day or he just had a tough time reading, but
probably a little of both. And of course, if they had success, other teams are going to look at what they did. It goes without saying, but but we'll adjust too. And Ben Johnson's I consider him up there genius level play caller right now. So I think
unless the Lions like shell out record setting money for an assistant coach, he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But man, does he want to leave? Like he's got a good thing going, I mean, this is why he stayed, right? Because he wanted to.
But maybe we do give him record-setting money for at least 1 year. Come on, maybe.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know. Why not?
It's such a good thing going that.
I know.
You don't want to ruin it because he is. It's a joy to watch. I mean, the other one I forgot to mention too that I want to mention is the play call what was it? Was it 4th down that they executed right before the Jahmyr Gibbs? Or was it 3rd down? I'm talking about like that shovel toss pass thing on Ross St. Brown over the middle.
What down? That was.
It was right before the Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown.
I want to say that was 3rd down. Because he got down to the 1 yard line or whatever.
Right. Here, I'm gonna look it up here. It's gonna take me a moment, but either way, I love the play call. And Ben Johnson typically has a great. I mean, red zone play calling is tough in the NFL. Red zone's the toughest thing in the NFL
Super
for
tough.
An offense to execute on. Usually, what separates like the great offenses with like the mediocre ones, especially in the NFL. Just there's so many big guys. It's hard to find the right spot to put the ball, but not that one. Nope. Oh, I'm going the wrong way here. Hold on. Touchdown. It was. You're right. Yep, 3rd and 5. You're right. It was 3rd.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought it was fourth down, but either way, qualifies as a pass from Goff to St. Brown.
Right.
But that's kind of what it was. Kind of like a slight spin on what you see the Chiefs run on their goal line. Ben Johnson loves to steal plays. By the way, he's not afraid to.
He does.
I mean, you see it all throughout the league, but he's really good at stealing plays. I mean, because they ran, I believe they ran Montgomery out of the Wildcat today too for a
They
play
did.
for 60
Yes.
yards.
I'm
That
glad
was
you
stolen-
mentioned that. I'm glad
They
you
stole
mentioned
that from his days as a Bears running back, and that goes back to Ben Johnson. He asks the players like draw plays for him and ask them what they like and what they want to, and then I mean it's his job to determine if he wants to include any
Right.
of them, but he at least gives them opportunity, and players love that, and that's part of like that kind of
Sure.
players coaches players coach culture they kind of got going on here. And it's really funny because Ben Johnson's the only one that isn't a former player. So
Yeah. Although he was a pretty good college player from all accounts, but
yeah,
but it's funny though. But no, he's just so cerebral about the game, and
absolutely.
and some of the plays, that maybe as a casual fan gets frustrated and like, why did he do that? It's setting something up later. There's always an ulterior motive for what he does. Like sometimes it's a formation or so you run a play with this formation and this guy in motion or whatever, and it goes for no yards. But that's only to set up one for later out of the same formation to do something totally different. And he's just brilliant at that. Just amazingly the way he sets plays up.
I would pay good money to like just see how they communicate throughout the entire game, even in halftime and their adjustments and things of that nature. I would just love to know their thought process for these how they get the plays, how they decide. I mean, it's up to Goffy audibles and stuff like that too. But it's a joy to watch. Another over
Absolutely.
20-point game from the Lions. This is a solid Bears defense. Like
it is.
Defense has not been their problem lately. It's the shaky offense at times. But I mean, the Bears are not. It's tough. I hope Eberflus stays around because I don't think he's a great coach.
I agree with you on that.
And they have not improved as far as wins in his time there. I feel like you have to show some improvement at some point. But they do have like decent pieces to turn it around quickly.
They do. If they improve on that offensive line, and who knows, Fields is not his quarterback. He inherited him,
Right.
And they got some really high draft picks this year.
Really high.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, Carolina lost again. They got smoked.
Yep.
And then C.J. Stroud looks like a potential MVP candidate for the Texans. So I mean, I don't know how the Panthers screwed up that pick so badly. I
don't either.
I had Stroud ranked higher. I can't remember what you had, UJ. Did you have Stroud ranked?
I had Stroud, absolutely. Just because he's more NFL prototypical. He's 6'3", great arm, pocket passer. He can be elusive when he wants to.
Right. There's a reason these. I mean, Kyler Murray is small. Like Bryce Young is small, but Kyler Murray has like super freak athlete abilities to him that kind of justify at least drafting him that high.
Yeah.
Bryce Young does not have that same athletic ability.
No.
He might be a good quarterback still. I mean, I think he has a terrible coach too. There's a reason Frank Reich did not win as an Indianapolis coach, and he might be fired after 1 year here in Carolina too. That's what the reports were saying today, that he's going to probably be gone by the end of the year.
Well, if I were Carolina, I'd fire him and the GM too.
Yeah, I can't remember if this is a new GM, like if he's had 1 year, but I mean, he did pick Bryce Young, so.
Well, that's the kind of picks that get you fired or get you money.
Can't screw up the number 1 overall pick.
You blew that one, buddy.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's funny, actually. The Goff and Stafford both had fourth quarter game-winning drives today. So
yeah, Stafford was the master of it, and Goff is very capable too. So
yeah, I mean, we haven't seen out of Goff too much, but we haven't really
had to. Yeah,
like the Lions have won a lot of double-digit games comfortably. So
yeah,
so it was good to see. I mean, I think that's important too, especially like it's a great experience for the playoffs because You know, the NFL loves close games. The NFL,
Oh, yeah,
the
absolutely.
game is designed, especially with the rules now, to be close. So,
No, but you're right though. You know,
NBA,
it's
like,
nice. Yeah, it's
yeah.
good to see us win games in different types of ways. You know, like
Mhm.
okay, we had to win on a comeback one. We had to win with all offense last week, no defense. We can win any way we have to. That's so important to me.
Definitely.
So
And I want to give a huge shout out to Lions fans, UJ, because that place was so loud.
yeah,
And it just gets me. I am literally right now, I got chills go down my spine thinking about the playoff game. Assuming that we have a home playoff game and how raucous that crowd is going to be. I mean, it's been 30 years.
oh my
And
god, the waiting.
And man, I just can't wait to see that when it comes to
I know it's going to be
fruition.
fantastic.
Oh man. If this is fun. I think it's a little fun to do. But if the season ended today, UJ, you know who the Lions would host at home in the playoffs?
No, I do not.
The Seahawks.
Oh, that would figure. Kind of our nemesis.
Aaron Glenn's kryptonite.
Yeah, kind of. Oh my god.
And they have after that, it's the Packers are the 8th seed right now at 4-6.
Wait. Are you serious about that? The Packers?
I am. Yeah. So right now the top 7 teams have a 2-game lead on. Well, besides the Saints, that's in their own division, but the other 6.
Wow.
It's not. It's not a tight race by any means. But meanwhile, like the AFC has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 teams within a game of each other for the 7th seed.
Yeah.
Slightly different there.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. The other guy I wanted to mention really quick, I thought I didn't really know him before today. Honestly, kind of snuck under the radar too. I don't know if we've mentioned him on this podcast at all. But a guy that I thought stepped up today, I'm trying to got off the page. I got to make sure I pronounce his name right.
I think I know
the
the
tackle that they signed from Bohanna from the Cowboys. A couple sacks, 1 for loss, but just another nice rotational piece. He seemed to really fit in. The Lions clearly are not happy right now with Broderick Martin, or at least they're not satisfied, I should say, with his ability to compete for for this team right now. Now, that's not saying they won't develop him in the future, but he does not seem to. Broderick Martin, barring major injuries, does not seem to be a factor for this team for this season.
True.
So it'll be interesting. You got to look at the long-term picture. Is he just was the 3rd round pick where they traded up for him justifiable? Time.
Well,
it remains to be seen. But trading up for a guy that isn't playing at all this year is interesting. Not that I'm harping on Brad Holmes too much, obviously, because he's built an amazing roster.
I did question that pick at the time because I watched his films, Martin's films, and he just seems so slow and plodding. I mean, he's a huge guy, and obviously,
but he's just how about Bohanna though? This guy's a monster.
Yeah, that shocked me. I go, he makes a big tackle for a loss. I go, who is that guy? I didn't even know he was on the team. Bohannon. But yeah,
6'4", 330, and his roster pick UJ is like this. he looks pissed off in his roster picture.
I like that. Pissed off. Yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's a great. Hold on, let me see if I can. I think I can share my screen here, just so you can see really quickly, UJ. Yep, right here. Can you see my screen right here with Quinn and Bohanna? If you're on YouTube, you can see it.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at that. He needs a number there, like a convict number there. But yeah, he looks angry.
I love it. That's exactly what you want right up the middle there.
Absolutely.
So I think he helped in the run game to a degree today, because most of the damage for Fields is on the outside the tackles. So
yes.
Yeah, but UJ, I just the way I thought this podcast was going to go with 5 minutes remaining in this game compared to my never-ending smile
Yes.
on this podcast. It went two completely different directions, and
you got that right.
I've never
You
been
got that right.
happier. I'm going to sleep great tonight. I'm just so psyched, and we got like 3 days to turn this or 4 days to turn this around for Thanksgiving. So
I know.
And this is Campbell's third Thanksgiving game, right? And they gave the Buffalo Bills a hell of a game last year. I mean, considering the talent levels of our team still at that time,
Yeah,
that was right when they were turning things around. Tough beat at the end. They give up a big play and stuff, like a wrong field goal for the Bills, and they nailed it. I'm trying to think what happened his first year as the Thanksgiving coach. I don't think he won.
No, I don't think so either.
I'm
That would,
looking it up right now. So
But,
he's due. Campbell's due for a win on Thanksgiving. Is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at.
well, you know what? Every team at this point now is going to give us their best shot. You know, we're the top dogs at the moment in our division, so you're going to see everyone throwing their best at us. You know, so and we got to be ready for it. That's all. You know, and I think Campbell's got these guys' mindsets right.
I remember this game now. It was 16-14 loss to the Bears.
Oh yeah.
And Campbell had some. It was a good learning game for Campbell, UJ, because he. I don't think he quite managed the clock well at the end of that game. But now Campbell is the best coach at managing the clock in the NFL. He has the highest points added for coaching decisions.
Isn't that something?
So it's crazy, and it's funny. He's like on the outside, he looks like the biggest meathead of all the coaches in the NFL.
Right.
And yet he's the most cerebral. It's phenomenal.
He is, absolutely. He doesn't get near the credit he should. And you see him on the sidelines. He doesn't react to a lot of things. They're very cool-headed, you know, during a game and when things are going on. Him and Ben Johnson. I don't see him and AG together a lot on the sidelines, but I see him and Ben together a lot on the sidelines.
Yeah, for sure.
But they never seem to lose their cool.
We do give Ben Johnson a lot of credit, but Campbell is heavily involved in the offensive play calling. Like at least the prep. I'm not sure about the in-game stuff, but definitely adjustments and anything of that nature. Campbell definitely has his hand in the scheming on the offensive side. And I think he lets Aaron Glenn do his own thing on defense. That is the perception. We don't know for sure.
Yeah. Well, if you remember when they fired Anthony Lynn and Campbell came in and took over the play calling, we got like 100% better immediately with Campbell calling the plays. Mm-hmm. And then he slowly ceded the play calling over to Ben Johnson after making him a coordinator. And obviously Ben Johnson was completely up to the task, but Campbell's no slouch either. I think if Campbell had to go in there and call a game, if Ben Johnson got sick with the flu or something, couldn't come in, I think Campbell can go in there and call a hell of a game. So,
and I'm looking at 2021 too, UJ. I forgot that the Lions lost to Seattle that year too, 51-29. So they've given up 51, 43, and 34 to them in back-to-back years. So I feel like this is headed towards a Lions Seahawks postseason game in a lot of ways.
Well, maybe
like
that's
the Lions can't move forward until they get over the proverbial hump.
Yeah,
that is
maybe that's our hump, man. Maybe that's our hump to get over is the Seattle. You know, maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, but man, UJ, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. But just what a great victory! What a beautiful night! Great day for a victory. November 19th. We'll remember that one for a while.
So good.
It's a great night to be a Lions fan. Thank you to all Lions fans that were in attendance today that helped get the team over the edge to victory. I heard there's restlessness in the crowd with the offensive performance the rest of that game. But you know, the patience and your fandom was rewarded with a epic victory. Go look up the Campbell speech in the locker room.
Yeah, so good. So good.
It was a great one. So just little notes. We'll probably in a day or two have our preview episode for the Thanksgiving game up. We probably won't have a live stream on Thanksgiving, unfortunately. because A, we don't think a lot of people watch, and B, we won't be available to do so. So maybe we'll have one like on the Friday or the Saturday after. It'll be up in time for you to react. We'll do our best. We don't have a planned date, unfortunately. That we're still scheduling that one out, but just be on the lookout for it because we're expecting another big Lions victory this time on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah,
the turkey's going to go down extra smooth, but we'll preview that one later this week. Thank you, everybody that was watching on YouTube. If you are not and you're listening on podcasts and you want to subscribe for future live streams or any other videos, that's at DTBK. That's at DTBK on YouTube. Search it or just type in Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid. Instagram at Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid. Twitter /X at Drinking Lions. Follow us on there. Let us know your thoughts about this big victory.
Oh yeah,
that we're so pumped about over here. Thank you to SidelineReport.com for sponsoring the podcast. Really appreciate that. And thank you to our producer, Kid J.
Kid J. Kid J. Kid J.
Kid J crushed it. And his Rams
as always
also won today. So congratulations, Kid J, on that. And that's about it. Otherwise, just thank you, Lions fans. Thank you, listeners. We greatly appreciate you tuning in, celebrating this big victory with us. And we will be back. Oh, yeah, shoot. Thank you, Kid J. Our email, if you have anything you want to email us, a message that you want us to respond to, a question or a voicemail you want us to play on the air, that's drinkingthebluekool-aid at gmail.com. And thank you also to my Bears fans buddies for swallowing their pride, following through on their bets, and praising how great this Detroit Lions team is this year.
You saying Bears fans swallow?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh my goodness, sorry. On that note,
on that note, yes, thank you, Jay. Thank everybody for listening. Again, we'll be back later this week previewing the game against Green Bay on Thanksgiving. And last but not least, as always, go